Welcome to Hot Button Hashtags. My name is Matt. I love Harry Potter. I really do. The books, most of the movies, I love them. They're great. They're so much fun. They whisk you away to a magical world where your kids don't live. But I have some problems with Harry Potter. I have problems with everything, especially with things I love. But today I'm just going to talk about the problems I have with Harry Potter. The first problem I want to address is, why was it so hard to break out of Azkaban prison? Sirius Black managed it. He was able to turn himself into a dog and slip past all the Dementors. It took him 12 years to figure that out, but he did it. And Barty Crouch Jr., he did it because he took some Polyjuice Potion and turned into his mom, and they switched places and his mom died there, and it's really depressing. They act like it's the hardest thing in the world to do. But my question is this: why didn't they just use a house elf? Why didn't Sirius Black say, "Creature, take me out of here"? Why didn't Barty Crouch Jr. say, "Winky"? Ha! The power that they have over those house elves is enough to do that. I would imagine when Creature was taken by Voldemort into that little grotto underneath like the mountain where the Horcrux was hidden, Regulus called him. He came, he went, he zap snap, woo! It's not that they can't disobey on like a moral ground, it's like they physically can't disobey. Regulus called Creature, and Creature, who should have been unable to save himself, who should have been unable to apparate out of that grotto, did. So wouldn't the same be true for Azkaban? Because surely, if the magic was available, that's what Voldemort would have used. Voldemort's magic would have been at least as powerful as what was commonly available for use in, say, a high security prison. Other things wrong with Harry Potter. Well, let's see. Now, this is an issue with the movie, with Prisoner of Azkaban, when we see Scabbers as a rat. He's just a furry little rat. But then, when he turns into Peter Pettigrew, he's this fully grown, fully clothed man scrambling around. But when he turns back into a rat, his clothes fall to the ground. Presumably, the next time he turns into a human, he's going to be naked, right? Right? Or, does he regrow clothes? I'm not entirely sure how that works. Here's another movie issue. When they take Polyjuice Potion, it doesn't change their voice. It changes every single thing about them, but it doesn't change their voice. Why would it not affect their vocal cords? I mean, it wouldn't change their speech pattern per se. It wouldn't change their intonation and their pronunciation. It would change the sound of their voice, wouldn't it? Those are just the movies, though, and they get things wrong in the movies all the time. All right, let's see, what else can I complain about while still loving Harry Potter? Ugh, you know what? You're getting a little bit too much of this when really what you want is this. Let me fix this. There we go. That's better. Oh, what the heck are they doing there? They're building stuff. Maybe they're going to build another church or a bank, because Fort Wayne needs so many more churches and banks. Because we have so many rich Christians here. There's a lot of wand lore that I don't quite understand. If someone takes your wand, the wand is suddenly like, "Oh, I'm yours now," because that guy's a loser. Harry just ripped Draco's wand out of his hand, and so now the allegiance of the wand has transferred over to Harry. Not only that wand, but all other wands that ally themselves to Draco. That seems really weird to me, because how many times does Harry pick up Hermione's wand and use it? But that wand is still like, "Oh, but I'm not your wand, Harry. I'll be with Hermione because she's way better at this." And I understand that J.K. Rowling is using it primarily as a plot device. However, it just seems a little sketchy to me. Another thing that seems really sketchy and is 100% a major, massive plot device, and without it, you wouldn't have the whole story. The protection that Harry's mother placed on him by dying for him. That's like a keystone to the entire series. The reason Harry survived is because his mother died for him without trying to protect herself. And that's one of the sweeter parts of the story, is the mother's love protecting him. That's great. But I don't really understand why it carries on simply because he lives at number 4 Privet Drive. I understand it has to do with his mother's blood and his aunt, and they have the same DNA and all that stuff. I get that. But when Dumbledore died, he didn't protect himself either. He used his only chance to protect himself to protect Harry. Does he now have a second layer of protection? Or does he have to reside where Dumbledore's blood is, which would be the Hog's Head because of Aberforth? I don't understand that. And then, spoiler alert, Harry did the same thing that his mother did for all the people at Hogwarts. So now they're protected. Now, here's another question. Are they protected forever? Also, let's talk about Harry's life. Neither can live while the other survives. Now, Voldemort takes that to mean that if Harry's dead, he can never die. So does that also mean that if Voldemort's dead, Harry can never die? Does that mean that Harry now has to live forever? I mean, that seems weird. I should probably stop this video because I'm not going anywhere with it. Going on 15 minutes now. I cut out a lot of stuff, you guys. I cut out a lot of stuff. But I do love Harry Potter. I like Harry Potter probably more than I like Star Wars. You want to know why I like Harry Potter more than Star Wars? This video just turned into why Harry Potter is better than Star Wars. In Star Wars, every time they try to do anything, it's basically a David and Goliath story. Okay, it's a handful of rebels against the entire government. It's to save the universe. It's to save all these people, these faceless, nameless, raceless people, just so they can go on with their lives as moisture farmers and junk traders and cantina operators. And it's just to perpetuate this cycle of the universe, and so that things can keep going. It's in honor of the economy. It's to preserve culture. It's all these bland, nameless things that really aren't endearing. There's no heart to them. When Harry Potter goes to save people, he's saving Ron, he's saving Hermione, he's saving Neville and Ginny and Luna. He's saving people that he loves. He's saving individuals because it means something specific to him. Because his life will not be the same without these people. His heart is breaking, and that is why he does what he does. Luke does what he does in Star Wars because he's bored. That is why Harry Potter is better than Star Wars. I still love Star Wars. I just think I love Harry Potter a little bit more. It means more to me because it means more to Harry. Now, how exactly does the Ministry of Magic regulate dragons? I mean, do they have like a dragon sanctuary? Do they have like titanium like screens, like netting over the top of like a giant dome, like an arboretum? That's not what I meant. Where do they keep birds? I don't know. Bird cages? I can't think of the word. I'm not a linguist, but I do know a problem when I see one, and there is a problem with the dragon population. Same thing with giants. What's really keeping the giants up in their secret mountain stronghold, which is literally just a bunch of caves? Why aren't they stomping around London, knocking over buildings and crap? Why aren't they, storming like small Siberian villages and eating all the people? I know that's what I'd be doing if I were a giant. There's an entire department in the Ministry of Magic where, regulation of magical creatures. I don't understand how they do their job. Seems like it'd be a really hands-on kind of thing. You need to be ready to take down a dragon. I think we saw in the Tri-Wizard tournament, the first task, that dragons are unpredictable. They're not easily handled. It's not like a rabid squirrel. You send in a guy with one of those little metal loop things on a stick and a backwards baseball cap, and it's not that simple. I feel like the Department of Regulation of Magical Creatures, I feel like that department should be a lot bigger, should be a lot better funded than it is. If anything is going to violate the statute of secrecy, it's gonna be some magical creatures. When Harry and Hermione and Ron, spoiler alert, ride the dragon out of Gringotts, I'd be willing to bet that some eagle-eyed muggle saw it and thought, well, that's not normal. And also, what exactly was Voldemort's endgame? Like, he wanted to take over the world, I would imagine. I mean, I'm guessing that was his plan. And all we saw were the first stages of his global takeover. His first big move was to take over his old high school? The darkest wizard in history was basically just a petty teenager. And if you're wondering, why wouldn't you be wondering? I am a Gryffindor. I have been properly sorted by Pottermore. And my Patronus is a chow dog. Yep, my Patronus is a fluffy, chubby dog that rich people buy. My favorite thing about Harry Potter, you want to hear my absolute favorite thing about Harry Potter? A Patronus is basically a really advanced shield charm. When a wizard feels unequal to a danger, they often will cast a Patronus. Harry's Patronus is a stag. Other Patronuses are rabbits, otters, foxes, things like that. They have attributes. They have attributes that dwell within the wizard himself or herself, if it's a witch. Now, here's my favorite thing. Professor McGonagall, she's an animagus. She can turn into a cat with spectacle markings around her eyes. Her Patronus is also a cat with spectacle markings around its eyes. So basically, Minerva McGonagall is her own Patronus. Minerva McGonagall, when she faces an insurmountable danger and she needs to call upon something stronger than herself to deal with it, she calls herself. She is the toughest thing that she knows of. She's this severe, stern old lady who will not be messed with. I certainly wouldn't mess with her. I wouldn't want my chow dog to go up against her spectacle-eyed cat. That's for darn sure. If McGonagall being her own Patronus is my favorite thing about Harry Potter, what's my least favorite thing about Harry Potter? It's this. The fact that Dolores Umbridge, a, secondary villain, is so much more deplorable than Voldemort, the top-tier villain. That's the problem. That's an issue I have. Clearly, everyone hates Dolores Umbridge so much more than they hate Voldemort. Because Voldemort is a product of his upbringing. He was an orphan. He didn't understand who he was. He didn't know his place in the world. He spent the first several years of his life very confused, very unloved. It's hard. It's hard to grow up like that, I'd imagine. I don't know. I was loved. He wasn't nurtured. He wasn't loved. So naturally, he doesn't factor love into his use of magic, which made him evil. No. Voldemort's motives. You know what he wants. You know that he is up to no good and he will do whatever he has to get what he wants. There's no question about him. I can appreciate that. But with Umbridge, it's different. She has taken the system and she has played it. She has turned it against itself so that it works for her. She has twisted things and she has gotten things notarized and she has basically granted herself permission to be evil. And there's nothing anyone can do to stop her. Does that sound like anyone you know? Not gonna say Trump, but that's who I'm talking about. The thing with her is that she gets to change the rules to reflect her own prejudices. She gets to mistreat whoever she chooses. And it's allowable. It's agreed upon. It's legal. She has the right. She has the permission because she has given herself the permission. My least favorite thing about Harry Potter is that Dolores Umbridge is way worse than Voldemort. And Voldemort is supposed to be like the top shelf baddie. But you almost feel sorry for him, you know? You don't feel sorry for Umbridge. You shouldn't feel sorry for Umbridge. She's terrible. She's awful. She's like She's like cotton candy wrapped around barbed wire and poop. Yeah. Why would you eat that, right? Because cotton candy is just not good for you. And another thing about McGonagall, you know how they say a boggart, nobody knows what a boggart looks like because it takes the shape of whatever you fear the most. I feel like McGonagall would know what a boggart looked like. I don't think a boggart would change into anything because McGonagall's not afraid of anything. In the Half-Blood Prince, at the beginning of year feast, Dumbledore tells everyone that if you see anything strange, make sure to tell someone. And then Harry spends the entire book doing that, telling everyone that Draco is up to something. And everyone's like, no, Harry, you're crazy. He's just doing what he was told. And then they all tell him to shut up. It's hard being the chosen one. Let's talk about Horcruxes real quick. A Horcrux is a piece of the wizard's soul encased in an object put there after a murder. I am not sure exactly. Voldemort, he creates a whole mess of Horcruxes. One of those Horcruxes, one of those pieces of his soul, is inside a locket. That locket he places in the bottom of like a basin filled with a magical liquid that causes unendurable pain and agony to the person who drinks it. Guess how you get that liquid out of the basin? You have to drink it. That basin with the poison liquid, gross stuff, is on this island out in the middle of a lake filled with zombies. The lake is in this grotto, this cave underneath a mountain, and it's only accessible through a small channel in a cliff face. There's a wall that blocks off this grotto that you have to basically paint with your blood in order to get through. It's almost inaccessible unless you are a wizard. And there's this little boat that you have to ride on. It's underwater. It's an invisible chain. It's a long, almost impossible series of steps that are needed to get to this thing. It is as secure as a thing can be. This other Horcrux, this other bit of his soul, is in a diary that he just gave to his friend Lucius. The other really great thing about Harry Potter, the houses. Whenever I meet someone, the first thing I do usually is try to figure out which house they belong in. If you're a true fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You meet someone and you think, that guy seems like a total Ravenclaw because he just wants me to know how smart he is, and he keeps yammering on about whatever book he's reading. Or a Hufflepuff, you know, they're like, hey, can I get you anything? Hey, I'm getting up to go get a napkin. You need any more in your cup? You need a drink? Craig, I'm talking to you. Then there's the Gryffindors. They don't consider the consequences of their actions, and we love them for it. These are the ones that we talk about. These are the friends that we have that we tell stories about. You know, you've got that dumb friend that you talk about. That's your Gryffindor. Then there's the Slytherin. Slytherins get a bad rap, I think. They're the ones that are always looking out for themselves. They're the ones who, you know, they kind of like to your face they're your friend, but you're pretty sure they talk bad about you when you're not around because they talk bad about everyone when they're not around. They're the voice of reason, the harsh voice of reason that keep you basically out of trouble. They're the one who will tell you straight up, you're an idiot and you're going into this situation alone. The Ravenclaw, they'll let you get in trouble. They'll let you learn your lesson because they want to talk to you through the little plexiglass thing in the jail. The Slytherin, they're going to say straight up, you're an idiot, because a Slytherin never misses an opportunity to badmouth somebody. So we need to thank the Slytherins. We need to thank them for being there to make us realize that we're being stupid Gryffindors again. Here's another weird thing about Harry Potter. They take a bunch of kids, completely untrained in what has the potential to be an extremely lethal art, magic. They give them what is their version of guns, wands. They put them all together in a school where they're largely unsupervised. They're left to deal with all sorts of emotions and hormones. They don't really have the tools to be adults, yet they're treated like adults. They're given the responsibilities of adults. They play a game where they fly around potentially hundreds of feet in the air. They chase each other and they throw these hard as rock balls at each other. It's like air rugby. You don't come out of Quidditch without a few scars, a few broken bones. It's a very dangerous game. They learn how to deal with all sorts of dangerous animals. They live next to a forest called the Forbidden Forest, which is filled with dangerous, bloodthirsty animals. There are dungeons in their home. There are ghosts. There are suits of armor. There are swords. It is a very dangerous place to live. But if they want to go to the local village for the afternoon, they have to get special permission. There's no telling what could happen. You could walk into Honeydukes and buy candy. I know it's all pretend and all make-believe, but I think the reason that I get so worked up about it is because I want it to be real. Because it doesn't exist, I have to find ways to make myself okay with that. So I find things wrong with it. And I say, but if we all lived in Harry Potter's world, we'd all be getting murdered every day. I love Harry Potter. I know this video's been a little choppy. I know it's been kind of all over the place. Camera's moving around. I'm inside, I'm outside. I'm, driving in the sunlight. I'm driving in the less sunlight. Had a lot to say. Took me all day to say it. Harry Potter brings people together, I can see somebody with a Gryffindor pin on their jacket and give them that kind of cool nod, and they give me the nod, and it's like we're in Fight Club or something. It's just neat. It's great how people kind of come together and just unite over stories. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have questions about Harry Potter, why don't you go ahead and leave them in the comments below? I won't probably answer them because clearly I'm an idiot also. Maybe we'll start a dialogue. Maybe we'll get to know each other. Maybe this is how you and I become friends. Maybe you come over to my house and you bring a lasagna and we have fun and we eat and it's just a good time. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe we start a Quidditch league. Maybe that's what happens. And maybe it becomes a big deal. I don't know. I can't tell it to you. I didn't take divination. Every time I pull into my driveway, I run into my lawnmower. There you go. Thanks for watching.